Good media spokespeople understand there's a real skill to staying on message. People ask me about how do I stay on message, and it's a really good question because typically this is where some interviews go sideways. I say to people, you're never really in trouble when you say this much. You get into trouble when you say this much. And so deciding halfway through an interview that you want to tell a little personal story or an anecdote or some really interesting information, that's fine. Go ahead and do it as long as you plan to do it to begin with. Some people, they get halfway through the story, they realize they're getting into an area they didn't want to get into, and they'll say to the reporter, but wait a minute, you can't use that. Don't use that. It's too late. You agreed to do the interview, and the reporter interviewed you. What you say from that point forward is your responsibility. So it's important to understand that you go on with a game plan. You decide the questions you're going to get in advance, or at least you anticipate them, and what you're going to say. I also suggest to people too that come up with a different way of giving the same answer. Sometimes reporters will ask you the same question in a slightly different way because they want you to give them a different answer. That's their job. It's also your job to stay on message, and so I would give the same answer, maybe with some slightly different wording.